You think you can just park anywhere you want? This is my neighborhood, and your visitors are illegally parked. I have every right to ticket them.
Blue-white lights flashed across my living room like a bad disco, and cold air slid under the door as I opened it. The smell of wet asphalt and fresh coffee hit me at once. It was 9:00 p.m. on May 3rd, 2024. My friends were on my porch, laughing over takeout, when the HOA's volunteer hall monitor, our block's Karen, stepped out with a booklet and started writing tickets. Not for cars, for people. She waved her pen like a wand and slapped paper onto the railing. Violation, violation, violation. 6 slips in under 2 minutes. My best friend blinked at me. Can you even ticket a porch? Karen smirked and said, you'll learn the rules. This whole mess boils down to one thing. Karen ticketed my visitors on the porch 6 times. Then I filed the injunction. I told her to stop. She said the porch counted as common area and guests needed pre-approval. I pointed at the deed line about my steps and pergola. She said the board updated policy in April. Where's the notice? She tapped the booklet. Right here. I called the number on the paper while the night smelled like rain and burned brake pads, and the on-call board member sighed like I was late to class. Pay the fines or appeal next month. I tried to reason. I brought cookies to the office on Tuesday. I spoke at the meeting on Thursday. I slid away. Chairs squeaked. The board didn't look at me. They looked at Karen. She folded her arms and recited codes like a spelling bee champ. A neighbor whispered, don't make her mad. She calls at night. And right then I understood the pattern. Timeline item 1, April 5th at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. Timeline item 2, April 18th at 6:15 a.m. complaint about a stroller on my porch. Timeline item 3, May 3rd at 9:00 p.m. 6 guest tickets. I counted 12 complaints in 5 weeks. My porch looked like a printer exploded. I went home shaking, not scared, done. My line in the sand was my own front steps. I said it out loud to my empty kitchen. Only proper channels. No drama, just facts. Then I got to work. I spent $89 on a doorbell cam subscription and a $10 body cam that looks like a key fob. I printed the CC and RS and stuck neon notes on them. I dug into the city website. I pulled the porch permit. I checked state code on private property and access. Here's the plain law line. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I asked for HOA records in writing. And when they tried to stall, I went the public route for what they'd filed with the city. The clerk rolled her chair back and handed me a fat stack. The file landed with 63 pages. I saw her handwriting in complaint after complaint. I wasn't angry anymore. I was ready. The trap was simple and clean. I set a porch warming on Saturday at noon. Open house vibes. Lemonade, small cups, paper plates. On the invite I wrote, RSVP required by HOA policy, and I CC'd the board. I also invited the city code inspector who'd answered my email and our neighborhood police community officer. Both said they could swing by for 10 minutes. The rule said guests needed badge tags. No problem. I printed tags. Big and bright. Guest 01, Guest 02. Even one that read inspector. At exactly 12:05 p.m., Karen rounded the hedge with her booklet and a portable siren light stuck to a golf cart. She saw my porch filled with people, all wearing tags, and her face lit like she'd found buried treasure. She snapped photos. She wrote tickets. She wrote one to the code inspector standing on my steps, sipping lemonade. The inspector calmly asked which statute covered human feet on a deeded porch. Karen said Common Area 14B. He pointed to the permit plaque I'd posted at eye level. He said, that's not common area. The doorbell cam caught her blink. Caught my neighbors gasping. Caught the officer chuckling. I didn't have to say a word. Phones were out. Laughter rolled across the block. Someone whispered, she ticketed the inspector. Comments flew in our group chat. Bro, post that. Our next door teen Liv posted clips with captions like Porch Police strikes again, an inspector gets a ticket, send help. By evening, the video had thousands of views. People paused the clip on her face as she realized she'd ticketed an official and tried to peel the slip back off his clipboard. She said, it's just a courtesy notice. The officer said, ma'am, you told them it was a fine. The clip looped. Folks laughed, but it wasn't cruel. It was a mirror. That stung more. On Monday, I filed in small claims for the porch fines and in county court for a temporary injunction against harassment and interference with quiet enjoyment. I attached the binder, the video, and the timeline sheet. I wrote it plain. 6 porch tickets on May 3rd, 3 late-night calls before that, and fake citations to a city inspector on May 11th at 5 p.m. The clerk stamped it, and I felt my heartbeat slow. At the emergency hearing, the judge looked at the footage, then the CC and RS, then at Karen. He asked the board counsel why residents were being cited for standing on deeded property. Counsel stared into the carpet. The judge granted the temporary injunction for 90 days and ordered the HOA to void all porch fines, refund $160 I had paid under protest, and rewrite the policy in plain language. He warned her on the record about false reports. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. The board flipped like a fish on dry land. They voted that night to remove Karen as compliance chair. She kept her house, but she lost the booklet and the little light. The HOA president apologized. He sent a note on May 15th at 8:30 a.m. We regret the inconvenience. My neighbors started waving again. On Friday, Mrs. Alvarez came by with mangoes and said she slept through the night for the first time in weeks. The kids chalked the sidewalk and wrote "Welcome, guests." I fixed a squeaky hinge on Mr. Patel's gate and brewed a fresh pot of coffee. The air felt warm and clean. My porch smelled like lemons and would stain, not fear. I still keep the binder. Not as a weapon, as a story about a street that stood up with facts and stayed kind. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.